Now, the greatest radio shows of all time.
Suspense.
The Shadow Node.
Washington calling David Harding, Counter Spy.
Classic radio theater.
The Great Gildersleeve.
Fibber McGee and Molly.
Dragnet. Gunsmoke.
The Lone Ranger.
Now, step back into a time machine with your host, Wyatt Cox.
Good evening, friends of the Inner Sanctum.
Well, between the satirists Fred Allen and Stan Freberg, there was a fellow by the name of Henry Morgan. And that's what we're going to hear today, an episode of The Henry Morgan Show, going back 73 years to October 14th, 1949. And you will hear Henry Morgan, Arnold Stang, and his guest, Ethel Merman. And Ethel will not be singing on this program today. I think she did on the original, but we don't run music full bore on this just because we can't, because of copyright stuff. Anyway, we thank you for tuning in. Ending your week with us on this Friday, 14th day of October, 287th day of the year, 78 days remaining until we get to 2023. UK's East India Company tea ship's cargo burned at Annapolis, Maryland in 1773. George Washington proclaimed the first Thanksgiving Day in 1789. In 1884, George Eastman patented paper strip photographic film. In 1910, English aviator Claude Graham White landed his Farman biplane on Executive Avenue near the White House. That is now Pennsylvania Avenue. While campaigning in Milwaukee, former President Teddy Roosevelt was shot on the state in 1912 by saloon keeper John Schrank. With a fresh flesh wound and the bullet still in him, Roosevelt still delivered his scheduled speech. Sophomore tackle and guard Paul Robeson excluded from the Rutgers football team in 1916 when Washington and Lee University refused to play against a black person. How far have we come? The children's book Winnie the Pooh by A.A. Milne, first published in 1926. Nazi Germany withdrew from the League of Nations in 1933. And in 1947, Chuck Yeager flew a Bell X-1 faster than the speed of sound, the first person to do so in level flight.
Took the roster of all of our test pilots. We had 125 at the time, I believe, and went over this roster in great detail and selected about 25 pilots that we considered qualified for the flight. We then called in each of these pilots and interviewed them, of course having quite a bit of personal knowledge of their attitude and ability. And we'd hoped to find a pilot that didn't have a family, one who wasn't married preferably. After interviewing all of the pilots, we always came back to Yeager. He had demonstrated his ability on numerous occasions in our presence and the various flight demonstrations at the field and also in test work.
Air Force Colonel Alan Boyd on the selection of Yeager to make the flight. 11 members of the Communist Party convicted in the U.S. after a 9-month trial on the state in 1949 of conspiring to advocate the violent overthrow of the government. A U-2 flight over Cuba on this date in 1962 took photos of Soviet nuclear weapons being installed. Leonid Brezhnev became General Secretary of this Communist Party of the Soviet Union in 1964 and the leader of the Soviet Union, ousting Nikita Khrushchev. In 1964, American civil rights movement leader Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. became the youngest recipient of the Nobel Peace Prize.
I do not consider this merely an honor to me personally, but a tribute to the discipline, wise restraint, and majestic courage of the millions of gallant Negroes and white persons of goodwill who have followed a nonviolent course in seeking to establish a reign of justice and a rule of love across this nation of ours.
Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. winning the Nobel Peace Prize on this date in 1964. First live telecast from a manned spacecraft, Apollo 7, in 1968. Citing official misconduct in the investigation and trial, Amnesty International charged the government of the U.S. on this date in 1981 with holding Richard Marshall of the American Indian Movement as a political prisoner. It was on this date in 2012 Felix Baumgartner successfully jumped to Earth from a helium balloon in the atmosphere in the Red Bull Stratos project. That was weird. And in 2014, Utah State University received a bomb threat against feminist media critic Anita Sarkeesian, who was to give a lecture the next day. Now, among those passing away on this date in history, actor Errol Flynn, actress Dame Edith Evans, Bing Crosby passing away on this date, Keenan Wynn, another fine actor, composer, conductor Leonard Bernstein, writer, animal rights activist, and curmudgeon at large, Cleveland Amory, musician Frankie Yankovic, another accordion player, Freddie Fender, Wasted Days and Wasted Nights, Captain Lou Albano, and from Falcon Crest, Simon McCorkindale, all those folks passing away on this date in history. This is the birth date of the founder of Pennsylvania, William Penn, President Dwight David Eisenhower. You'll hear us refer to him many times in this pre-1952 as General, because he was a five-star general. Actress Lillian Gish, also born on this date. Poet E.E. Cummings. Benita Hume, you know her as Mrs. Ronald Colman. Also C. Everett Koop, the Surgeon General, first Surgeon General to really become a household name, particularly in a lot of the things that he discussed, most especially the link between cancer, smoking and cancer. Also saxophone composer Bill Justice, Roger Moore, retired WWE star Nikolai Volkov, and Harry Anderson. Happy birthday number 84 to Watergate figure John Dean, also fashion designer Ralph Lauren, singer Cliff Richard, 82 today. We Don't Talk Anymore. It's great music, great music. From BJ and the Bear, My Two Dads, and Tech War, Greg Evigan, 69. English musician Thomas Dolby, still blinded with science, at 64. From Tank Girl, Lori Petty, 59. Usher, 44. Actress and former professional wrestler, mostly ballet, Stacy Keibler, 43. From Bratz and Super Baby, Skylar Shane is 36. And from The Guiding Light and The Bold and the Beautiful, Mackenzie Mousy is 34. Those just a few of the people celebrating the 14th day of October as their birthday. If this is your birthday...
Hi, we're the Four Freshmen, and we just want to say... Happy birthday to you!
Alrighty, we'll head for the cigar store and see what's up in the life of Henry Morgan. The Henry Morgan Show, 73 years ago, October 14th, 1949. On this Friday, Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox.
You know, it's true. Difficult times have a way of focusing us. We have to think about what matters most when it comes to our spending, our health care. No doubt. This is why so many people are joining Medishare right now. Medishare is a trusted way to save up to 50% on your monthly healthcare costs. More than 400,000 people have already made the switch. It's pretty obvious why, too, especially now during this challenging season with healthcare costs and out-of-pocket expenses going up. Medishare can save you a lot of money. The typical family saves $500 a month. And Medishare is a Christian healthcare sharing ministry that's worked beautifully for 29 years. There are different options to choose from to fit your budget. I'll give you the number here in a second, and if you call, you can get a price within 2 minutes. Maybe now is the perfect time to make the switch and start saving. Here you go. Call 833-34-BIBLE. That's 833-34-BIBLE. 833-34-BIBLE.
Now on Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox, we go back 73 years, October 14th, 1949, The Henry Morgan Show.
The Henry Morgan Show. Yes, transcribed The Henry Morgan Show with Arnold Stang, Mae Questel, Doris Dalton, Elsie Mae Gordon, music of Milton Katims, me, Ben Grauer, and tonight's special guest, Miss Ethel Merman. And here's the star of The Henry Morgan Show, standing on his favorite corner in front of the cigar store.
Good evening, anybody. Here's Morgan. up all night. I was reading a wonderful mystery. My checkbook. What a book. It was so fascinating I couldn't put it down till I finished it. Ooh, what an ending. Let me read you a couple of my check stubs. They show exactly where my money went. Let's see, check stub. Here's one. April 6th. 2820 for what was this? Looks like a second-hand Bronkert. That's a lot of money for a second-hand Bronkert. Could get a new one for that. Let's see, April 14th. 46.75 for a Frobish Clang. Yeah. April 19th. $75 to W.L. Chapman. Well, that's clear. April 23rd, birthday present for sponsor, $2. Well, I always give the sponsor cash. Let him buy anything he wants. May 2nd, $32.50, cleaning and polishing Bronkert. That's what I get for buying a second-hand Bronkert. May 13th, $65 to W.L. Chapman. May 24th, $20 on Blue Boy in the 3rd. May 27th, $40 on Blue Boy in the 5th. May 29th, $80 on Blue Boy in the 4th. May 30th, $5 for new shirt. June the 2nd, $8.40 for box of... can't make this out. Oh, Cranswid? Box of Cranswid. For Bronkert. That's a Cranswid. Looks like it's... Oh, that must be canary seed. Oh, yeah, canary seed for the Bronkert. Let's see, the Bronkert might... Oh, sure. Brunette. Boston canary seed for a brunette. No, that can't be. Why should I pay for cleaning and polishing a second-hand brunette? That's it. Oh, no. June 12th, $87 to W.L. Chapman. July 1st, $75 rent on new apartment. July 1st, $4,000 for furniture in new apartment. July 2nd, $15 to junk dealer to remove furniture from new apartment. July 24th, $81 to W.L. Chapman. Well, that's a sample, and by studying your check stubs, it's easy to tell where the money goes. There's one thing bothers me. Who is W.L. Chapman? Well, oh, excuse me. Here comes my friend Gerard. Hello, Gerard.
Hiya.
Hi, Gerard. Say, what you been doing lately?
I'm still on the jury.
On a jury, no kidding.
Yeah, grinding out justice.
2 weeks in the same court, eh? Boy, by now you certainly must be impressed by the dignity of the judicial atmosphere, the legal decorum, the majesty of the judge. Weren't impressed much by the judge, huh? Say, who was the judge, anyway?
Was His Honor Chief Magistrate of Part 2 of Special Sessions Courts, the Honorable Clifford Van Druten, Jr.
Oh, Clifford Van Druten, Jr.
Yeah, fatso.
What?
Listen, he's the judge, but he ain't exactly Louis Stone, you know.
Oh, Gerard, don't you think you should have more respect for a judge?
Hank, when you're behind the scenes like me, you ain't impressed just because a guy comes out in a long black robe.
No, huh?
No, in fact, I got a hunch about that judge.
What is it?
Underneath that robe, he don't wear no pants.
No pants?
You heard me.
Have you any reason for saying a thing like that?
Listen, why spoil a good crease for nothing?
Oh, I know, but...
Yeah, he ain't on that bench to support his tailor, you know.
I know, but you're right.
Hank, for money, His Honor Judge Clifford Van Druten, Jr. is sitting there in his shorts.
All right. Well, tell me, what kind of cases did you have today?
Well, today there was a case where two companies was fighting.
What are they fighting about?
Well, one company was mad because the other company had a bigger fiduciary.
Fiduciary?
Hey, what's the matter? It ain't dirty.
No, but I'll bet you don't even know what a fiduciary is.
Yeah?
Yeah.
I know plenty.
Yeah, what?
I know that judge wasn't wearing pants.
Gerard, the case involved a fiduciary. Now, a fiduciary holds in escrow a monetary indenture for a person or persons possessing a trust fund.
You're so smart.
Yeah.
How come you bet on the Dodgers?
I was sick. Anyway, what happened to the case?
Finally, after arguing back and forth, the two lawyers decided to settle it out of court.
Out of court, huh?
Yeah, they went out into the alley and beat each other's brains out.
Figures. Well, see you around, Gerard.
Black boy.
Well, with Gerard on the jury, I hope justice is really blind. Hey, here comes a good-looking gal. Pardon me, miss. You know, you look enough like Ethel Merman to be her sister.
No, my sister's name is Mabel. I'm Ethel.
Gee, I'm glad to know you, Miss Merman. My name's Henry Morgan.
So you're Henry Morgan. You know, you look just like you do in real life.
Yeah.
Isn't there anything you can do about it?
Well, it isn't necessary to do anything about it, Ethel. I'm staying in radio.
Why?
Well, I did make a movie.
Yes.
And I had a television show.
Yes.
So, by popular demand, I'm staying in radio. Yeah. Hey, Ethel, I got a great commercial idea for us. What are you doing these days?
Me? Oh, I've got a radio program on NBC.
Good. Then you can use the money. Now, listen. Now, no kidding. Don't laugh. Don't laugh. Here's the idea. Now, don't laugh. Don't laugh. Now, how about you and me getting together to form a singing team?
Why?
Why what?
Why can't I laugh?
No, listen. You and I could work well together. The Henry Morgan Show with Ethel Merman. What's the matter? Oh. The Henry Morgan and Ethel Merman Show. No, huh? The Ethel Merman and Henry Morgan Show? The Ethel Merman Show with Henry Morgan? The Bob Hope Show? All right. The Ethel Merman Show.
Oh, that one sounds very catchy.
Yeah, I imagine.
But why me? There are so many other singers you can team up with, like Margaret Truman.
Oh, no. No, our voices sound too much alike, otherwise. But no, Ethel, really, you and me could. Hey, look, why don't we try a song together? Just try a song together.
Here in the street, there's no orchestra.
You know it's better that way? You know, sometimes I didn't mean an orchestra, but it's a part of it. But sometimes it's better. Really, it is because the music is so beautiful that people, you know, when singers are singing, the music's so beautiful that people don't realize how much meaning there is in the words.
How do you mean?
Well, take a song like They Say It's Wonderful, the one you made so popular. It's a beautiful poem.
Maybe you're right.
Sure. We don't need an orchestra. It's the words. Here, do it with me.
Okay, start it.
They say that falling in love is wonderful.
It's wonderful.
So they say.
And with the moon up above, it's wonderful.
It's wonderful.
So they tell me.
Can't recall who said it.
I know I never read it.
I only know they tell me that love is grand.
And?
The thing that's known as romance is wonderful.
Wonderful?
In every way.
So they say.
Listen, Ethel, I'm on the air tonight. Why don't you come over to the studio with me now and sing a song for the people?
With an orchestra?
With an orchestra.
Alone?
Alone.
Okay.
Swell. Taxi! Oh, taxi!
14th, 1949, Henry Morgan here on Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox. A very, very funny guy and a very sharp, sarcastic sense of humor. The news from 73 years ago today when Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox continues in a moment. Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox on this Friday here on your favorite radio station. We're listening to an episode of The Henry Morgan Show as it was originally broadcast Friday, October 14th, 1949. In the newspapers of that Friday, 73 years ago, these were some of the headlines. President Truman yesterday described as a bad thing the Senate 53-15 rejection of his nomination of Leland Olds for a third term on the Federal Power Commission. He also told a news conference he's not considering seizure of the soft coal mines and sees no need for changing our fundamental defense policies. Answering a barrage of questions regarding the Olds nomination, which the Senate turned down early yesterday after a torrid debate, Truman said he could not give Olds a recess appointment after Congress adjourns because the Senate had rejected him. He said he'll have to appoint a new commissioner, but has no one in sight. A federal jury was sent to bed last night, leaving the fate of the nation's 11 top communists still in doubt after about 5 hours of deliberations. Jury was set to deliberate and resume its secret debate this afternoon. This jury got the historic case yesterday afternoon. They argued it in private until 5 o'clock when they were sent to dinner. They resumed deliberations and continued until a late night adjournment. All in all, they were closeted for 5 hours and 8 minutes without reaching a decision. President Truman yesterday said the nation's defenses are adequate, although the Navy's number one officer complained that naval aviation and the Marine Corps are in danger of being scrapped. Admiral Louis E. Denfield, Chief of Naval Operations, made the complaint before the House Armed Services Committee, investigating a bitter row in the High Command over grand strategy. Hope of adjourning Congress Saturday vanished last night. The principal reason was the prospect of extended Senate debate on the Displaced Persons Bill. Democrat leader Lucas charged that opponents were staging a filibuster, but other bothersome matters also stood in the way of quitting. One was the Senate-House deadlock over the size of the Air Force. There was another conflict between the two houses over a farm price support bill. Surplus government property could be donated for public health purposes under a bill introduced yesterday by the Democrat from Florida, Senator Pepper. He also issued a bill to provide for issuance of paid-up government life insurance policy to holders or former holders of 5-year level premium government life insurance policies. Shirley Temple and John Agar, once known as Hollywood's most ideally wedded couple, have separated, and George Stallman, attorney for Temple, has said yesterday he has filed a suit for divorce. The charge was mental cruelty. The 21-year-old blonde one-time child actress married Agar, also an actor, September 19, 1945. Their daughter, Linda, born January 30th, 1948. Shirley's romance and subsequent marriage followed by millions who had watched Little Miss Marker grow up. She was 17 when she married Agar, who was a sergeant in the Air Force then. Mrs. Benjamin Cohen of the Bronx, who won a $28,000 jackpot on CBS's Sing It Again program last June, watched most of it being auctioned off for a fraction of that amount. She said, I have to pay income tax, I have to pay storage, I have to pay the lawyer handling everything for us, and I have to pay the auctioneer. It may get between $4,000 and $5,000. Oh, and speaking of radio, there's a mystery in Memphis. Mr. and Mrs. Caswell enjoying complete radio programs at their home without using a radio. Caswell said it even comes through the door sills. Those some of the day's top news stories as reported in the newspapers of Friday, October 14th, 1949. On your radio, The Henry Morgan Show, and you'll hear the conclusion next on this Friday, Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox on your favorite station. On Saturday's Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox, Bill Johnstone and Marjorie Anderson starring In the Shadow. From 83 years ago, October 15th, 1939, the Village of Doom. The citizens of Old Mill are being killed by a strange disease. The cause? It's an old hag taking her pet jackdaw as a flying killer. That's coming up on Saturday's Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox. But now, the conclusion of the Henry Morgan Show. 73 years ago today, October 14th, 1949.
I've been listening to some of the radio news commentators lately. And it's amazing how much significance they get out of the simplest items.
You mean?
Yeah. Let's see, Ben, how the commentators interpret Little Miss Muffet. Would you introduce me, Ben?
Little Miss Muffet, okay. Ladies and gentlemen, your favorite newscaster, Gabriel Morgan.
There's good news tonight. The headlines may scream about war and atom bombs somewhere. But somewhere tonight, there's a little girl. Somewhere. Little Miss Muffet. Somewhere. And she's not worried about war and atom bombs. She's just sitting on her little tuffet. And picture this if you can. This little girl somewhere, with her curly blonde hair and her blue eyes and her pug nose somewhere, is sitting on a tuffet and dreaming dreams. Not about war and atom bombs somewhere, but of curds and whey. Yes, she believes in the American curd and the American whey. And she's not alone. Throughout this great land of Oz, there are a million Miss Muffets sitting on a million tuffets, dreaming dreams somewhere. And I have a message for them wherever they are, somewhere. And the message is, get up off those tuffets. Watch out for that spider. Good night.
Thank you, Gabriel Morgan. And now, for another view of the news, your favorite newscaster, H.V. Kaltenborn. Good evening. In Washington, government officials are all asking one question. Who is Muffet? This mysterious individual is in our nation's capital attempting to purchase goods and whey. It is perfectly apparent that there's a plot by a certain foreign power, which shall be nameless, Russia. One thing is apparent, however. Official Washington must confront Muffet and demand an answer to this question. Who is the spider? In my opinion, there is only one explanation for the appearance of this special foreign agent in Washington at this particular moment in world history, and that is, good night. for your favorite newscaster, Walter Morgan.
Good evening, Mr. and Mrs. American. All the ships to sailor go to press. Check, Coco. Bulletin. Hey, diddle, diddle. The cat and the fiddle. The cow jumped over the moon. The little dog laughed to see such sport, and the dish ran away with the spoon. Don't be a fool, Dish. They got Dillinger, and they'll get you. 2 weeks ago, your reporter stated that Little Miss Muffet sat on the tuffet eating her cards and whey. At that time, it was denied. Well, tonight I'd like to add something else. Get this. Along came a spider and sat down beside her and frightened Miss Muffet away. Ha! Good night.
Hey, Benno.
Yes.
Let me ask you something. Is there anything we've had on this program that you'd like to see more of?
Yes, money.
You're getting greedy, Ben. You know we're doing this all for science. But I think we should show people more examples of the way things happen in real life and the way they happen in the movies.
You mean they exaggerate a little in the movies?
I mean, it's two different ways of living.
For example?
Well, for example, Ben, I'll show you the real-life way things happen, and then I'll show you the movie way things happen. For instance, man is saying goodbye in a railroad station to a girl. Now, first, this is the movie way. Well, honey, I'm afraid
No, don't say it. It's not goodbye. Au revoir.
Well, all right.
I'll miss you every moment you're away.
Yeah, well, I'm
The days will be nights, and the nights will be endless.
Gosh, I'll
Hold me once more before you go.
Oh, I'll be up.
Now go. Hurry, please. I can't bear a long goodbye.
Well, okay.
Oh, no, wait. Let me look at you once more so I can remember.
All right, I'll...
I think I'm going to cry. Please go.
Okay, I'll...
Wait. Here, take this. It's just a cheap little bracelet, but it'll help you remember. Now go. Go.
Okay, then, well, I'm...
No, wait. Give me back the bracelet.
Yeah, all right, here's the paper.
Wait to me, darling. I'll be watching.
Okay,
I'll cry. Now, please go.
Okay,
Oh, George, I don't want you to go. I don't want you to go.
No, you don't. You made me miss my train.
Now, the same goodbye scene in real life.
Well, so long, dear. I'm going to miss you.
Goodbye. Don't forget to tell me my mail. I just wanted to tell her to get off the train. I was supposed to leave.
Then, of course, then there are two entirely different ways in which a man rushes up to a doctor who is just coming out of an operating room. First, this is the way they do in the movies.
Oh, Mr. Smith?
Doc, is she okay? How is she, Doc? Would she be all right? Don't hold back, Doc. Tell me, you're keeping something from me. I know. Doc, listen, is there anything I can do? Specialist? Should we call a specialist? Doc, if anything happens to her, I'll kill myself. That's what I'll do. I'll kill me. Don't let it happen, Doc. Save it, Doc. She's all I have in the world. She's all I have.
Listen, your wife is all right.
Yeah? What are you scaring me for? Now, there's another way a man approaches a doctor who's coming out of an operating room. This is the way it happens in real life.
Oh, Mr. Smith.
Yeah, how much I owe you, Doc?
My fee is $300.
Fair enough. Oh, how's my wife?
Fine. She's perfectly all right.
Good.
Now, how about my 300?
Sue me.
Now, as you know, there are two different ways in which a fellow and a girl have a quarrel.
The Hollywood way goes like this.
I hate you. I've always hated you.
Come here, you.
Get your hands off me. I hate you. Oh.
Come here, closer.
I know.
I hate you.
You do love me, don't you?
Then here's the real-life version of a quarrel. It goes like this.
I hate you. I've always hated you.
I know.
Get them dirty hands off me. I hate you.
I know.
Let me go. I hate you like poison.
I know. Come here.
Let me go. I hate you.
I know.
As you probably know, there are two entirely different ways to explain life on a college campus.
In the movies, campus life goes something like this.
Hi, Drip Drip.
Hi, Square Pass.
Solid.
Yeah. Who you dragging to the prom, Dom?
Yeah, you got a hag to drag to the shack?
Just press the flash and don't be fresh. They'll be howling and yowling when I dance with my darling, Betty Lou Suanna.
Betty Lou Suanna? Wow.
Oh, I can hardly wait till it's Saturday night on Grover's Corner.
But in real life, students on a campus sound more like this.
Hi.
Hi.
Hey, let me come for your homework.
Okay.
Any more, Mr. Morgan?
I don't know.
One or two more, maybe.
Did we leave something out? Oh, yeah. I forgot the two ways in which a movie star is discovered.
First, the Hollywood way. A producer comes into the studio commissary for his breakfast.
Good morning, Mr. Pasternak. You want your eggs fried, boiled, or scrambled?
Wait a minute. Say that again.
Good morning, Mr. Pasternak. You want your eggs fried, boiled, or scrambled? That?
Yes. But wait a minute. Take off your glasses. Wet your lips. Throw out your chest. Now, say it just like you said it the first time.
Good morning, Mr. Pasternak. You want your eggs fried, boiled, or scrambled?
Great. Be in my office at 11 tomorrow morning.
Oh, Mr. Pasternak.
And bring the eggs with you.
But in real life, it happens something like this.
Good morning, Mr. Pasternak. You want your eggs fried, boiled, or scrambled?
Wait a minute. Say that again.
Good morning, Mr. Pasternak. You want your eggs fried, boiled, or scrambled?
Just coffee.
Then there are two ways to show a fellow coming home and rediscovering the girl next door.
Here's the Hollywood version.
Mom, I'm home.
Oh, my son, my boy, you've been gone so long.
Gee, the old place still looks the same.
Can I come in? Oh, hello, Mary. Son, you remember Mary Smith from next door? She was just a little girl when you left.
Mary Smith? The little... with the pigtails, the freckle... Gosh.
Well, I guess I'd better leave you two alone.
Gosh.
Well, is that all you can say?
Gosh. I mean, will you marry me?
Oh, darling, I've been waiting all these years to hear you say that. Kiss me.
Gosh.
But here's that same type of scene in real life.
Hey, Mom, I'm home.
Oh, my boy, you've been gone so long.
Gee, the old place still looks the same. Hey, Mom, whatever happened to that real cute girl with the freckles and pigtails who lived next door? Mary Smith. Is she still...
Yoo-hoo, can I come in? Hello, Mary. Son, this is Mary Smith, the girl you were asking about.
This is Mary?
Just one more thing. The ending. Now, in Hollywood, the ending goes like this.
Say it. Say the words I've been waiting so long to hear.
I love you.
Yes, but here on this program, the ending goes like this.
Say it. Say the words I've been waiting so long to hear.
Morgan will be back in the same corner in front of the cigar store next week at the same time. Good night.
she promised that if I behave myself, she'll drop in again next Friday night. After that, she'll be busy with her own show, which will be heard on Monday nights beginning October 24th. Thanks again, and good night, everybody.
It's the Henry Morgan Show with Arnold Stang, Doris Dalton, Mae Questel, Elsie Mae Gordon, Bob Hastings, Milton Cadams and his orchestra, and tonight's special guest, Miss Ethel Merman. Morgan himself with Miss Merman, again his guest, will be back in his favorite corner in front of the cigar store next Friday night at the same time. Transcribed, the Henry Morgan Show is produced by Kenneth McGregor. This is Ben Grauer speaking.
From 73 years ago today, October 14th, 1949, the Henry Morgan Show here on Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox. We thank you for making us a part of your day and hope you have a great weekend ahead. Please thank this station and support their advertisers. It is their kindness and courtesy that allow us to be with you each and every time we roll around here on your favorite station. Now, if you miss a day, you don't have to miss a single show because all of our Classic Radio Theater programs are available on demand at classicradio.stream. Your local station may have a football game, a hockey game, a sporting event. We understand that. They need the money to keep things going. But we're always here for you at classicradio.stream. Stream the shows, learn more about classic radio collecting. Contact me, and if you like what we do and want to help us expand our classic radio collection, you can buy me a coffee. The Buy Me a Coffee link helps us acquire additional classic radio collections. Have yourself a great day, won't you please? Tell all your friends the great radio shows are right here at this spot on the dial. Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox on your favorite station.